The ultimatum. The massive ship materialized without warning in Earth's orbit. One moment the deep space monitors showed nothing unusual. The next, an enormous vessel hovered silently above the planet, its metallic hull absorbing sunlight rather than reflecting it. The ship's design defied human understanding. Geometric impossibilities folded into shapes that hurt the eyes when viewed directly. Commander Elena Reyes stood frozen before the main view screen at Earth Defense Command headquarters, her coffee forgotten in her hand. 20 years of military service hadn't prepared her for this moment. "How did they get past our outer system sensors?" she demanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through her body. Lieutenant Marcus Chen shook his head, fingers flying across his console. "Unknown, Commander. They didn't trigger a single proximity alert. It's like they appeared from nowhere." "All defense systems online," reported Security Chief Amara Okafor, her dark eyes never leaving their station. "Orbital platforms are tracking the vessel, but weapons lock is unstable. Something about their hull configuration is interfering with targeting systems." Elena studied the alien ship, noting its lack of visible weapons or propulsion systems, its silent arrival and positioning, directly above the United Nations headquarters in New York, suggested either remarkable precision or a troubling level of intelligence gathering. "They're broadcasting," Marcus announced suddenly. "Audio and visual, on all frequencies. It's like they've hijacked every communication system on the planet simultaneously." "Put it through," Elena ordered. The main screen flickered, and an alien figure appeared. Humanoid in general appearance, but clearly not human. Its skin was pale blue and seemed to shimmer with an inner light. 8 eyes arranged in a circle around its head blinked independently. When it spoke, its mouth didn't move, but the words appeared in Earth's computers translated into every human language simultaneously. "People of Earth, I am High Commander Vexalia of the Tyranny Dominion. Your solar system lies within territory claimed by our empire. Your species has been evaluated and found unsuitable for integration. You will surrender your planet's resources and prepare for processing. Resistance is pointless and will result in accelerated extinction protocols. You have one planetary rotation to comply." The transmission ended abruptly, leaving the command center in stunned silence. Elena's coffee cup finally slipped from her fingers, shattering on the floor. The sound seemed to break the spell. "Get me the Security Council," she ordered, "and activate the Lazarus Protocol." 6 hours later, Elena stood before the emergency session of the United Nations Security Council, her dress uniform a stark contrast to the disheveled appearance of the hastily assembled world leaders. "The alien vessel has remained stationary," she reported. "No additional ships have been detected, but our sensors are clearly compromised. The Lazarus Protocol has been initiated, and all Phase 0 assets are being deployed." "What exactly is this Lazarus Protocol?" demanded the Chinese representative. "My government has no record of such an agreement." UN Secretary General Abiy leaned forward. "Because it doesn't officially exist, Mr. Ambassador. After the Roswell incident in 1947, certain contingencies were put in place. Preparations made by a small coalition of nations operating beyond official channels. You're saying we've been preparing for alien contact for over 70 years. The French representative looked incredulous. "Preparing for alien invasion," Elena corrected. "And not just preparing. Developing, adapting, learning." She activated a holographic display showing a network of facilities hidden beneath the Earth's surface, inside mountains, and deep beneath the oceans. "For 7 decades, we've been reverse engineering technology recovered from crashed alien vessels. Not just American sites like Area 51, but similar recoveries in Russia, China, and 12 other locations worldwide. The technology was damaged, incomplete, but it gave us a starting point." The display shifted to show strange aircraft and weapons unlike anything in Earth's known arsenals. "We kept these developments compartmentalized, each nation working on different aspects, no single government knowing the full scope. Only a handful of people on the planet knew the complete picture, a necessary precaution against both leaks and the possibility that our visitors might be monitoring our communications. And you're only telling us this now. The Russian representative's face had gone pale. The Lazarus Protocol was designed to activate only in the event of confirmed hostile contact, the Secretary General explained. Which brings us to the question at hand. How do we respond to this ultimatum? Alina's expression hardened. We've analyzed the transmission. The Tyranni believe us to be primitive, defenseless. They expect submission. Perhaps that's the wisest course, suggested the British representative cautiously. At least until we understand what we're facing. No, Alina's voice cut through the room like a blade. Submission isn't an option. Species that surrender to the Tyranni don't survive. They're processed. Based on our analysis, that means systematic harvesting of biological material and minerals. They don't want allies or subjects. They want resources. Then what do you propose, Commander? Asked the Secretary General. Elena smiled, though there was no warmth in it. I propose we show them exactly who they're dealing with. The Tyranni ship remained in position as Earth's deadline approached. Inside, High Commander Vexalia monitored the planet below with mild interest. These harvests were routine. Primitive species never had the capability to resist once the Dominion revealed itself. In truth, the deadline was merely a formality, designed to allow the natives time to accept their fate and reduce resistance during processing. Curious, remarked Science Officer Zeltor. The humans are not behaving as predicted. Explain, Vexalia ordered. There are no signs of panic, no mass migrations from population centers, no attempts at military mobilization. Their communications networks continue to function normally, primarily discussing trivial matters. Vexalia's central eye narrowed. They don't understand the situation. Or they're hiding something, Zeltor suggested. Impossible. Our assessment of their technological development was thorough. They barely managed to reach their own satellite and have no defenses capable of. A proximity alarm interrupted the High Commander. On the view screen, dozens of small objects rose from Earth's surface, from oceans, mountains, deserts, locations where no launch facilities should exist. What are those? Vexalia demanded. Unknown, Zeltor replied, his voice betraying concern. They're not matching any known Earth technology profiles. The objects surrounded the Tyranni vessel at a distance, maintaining formation without approaching. They emitted no recognizable energy signatures and appeared to have no conventional propulsion systems. A primitive display of defiance, Vexalia concluded. Target the largest human population center. We will demonstrate the consequences of delay. The Tyranni ship's energy weapons began charging, their power building to levels that would vaporize the city below. But before they could fire, a transmission reached them, not on any frequency they monitored, but directly into their communication system. The face of Commander Elena Reyes appeared on their screen. High Commander Vexalia of the Tyranni Dominion, she said calmly. On behalf of Earth, I'd like to thank you for your visit. It's not often we get to test our defensive capabilities against an actual threat. Vexalia's outer eyes blinked in confusion. Your species has been evaluated. You possess no defensive capabilities that can affect our vessel. Elena smiled. That's because you weren't looking in the right places. You scanned our official military bases, our known technology. You didn't scan 300 meters beneath the Pacific Ocean, or 500 meters inside the Antarctic ice sheet, or the dark side of our moon. Deception will not save you, Vexalia stated. Our weapons are locked on your largest city. Surrender now or watch it burn. I wouldn't do that if I were you, Elena replied, her smile never faltering. Those objects surrounding your ship, they're phase shift disruptors, based on technology we salvaged from one of your scout ships that crashed here 74 years ago. We've had quite a long time to study it, improve it, and prepare for this moment. For the first time, uncertainty flickered across Vexalia's features. That's impossible. We have no record of any scout ships in this sector before our current expedition. That's because the crew died in the crash. No one survived to report back. Just like no one will survive to report back from your ship if you fire on our planet." She leaned forward. "Let me be perfectly clear. We've been waiting for you. For decades, we've known that something was out there in the darkness between stars. We've been preparing, building, planning for this exact scenario. We allowed you to position yourself above our planet because it suited our purposes." On the Tyranny ship, alarms began blaring as their sensors detected energy buildups from the Earth devices. "What you're facing isn't a primitive species, High Commander," Elena continued. "You're facing a species that has spent its entire evolutionary history fighting. Against nature, against each other, and now, against you. We are arguably the most lethal predatory species to evolve on any world you've encountered. And congratulations. You just picked a fight with us." Vexalia signaled frantically to power up the engines, but it was too late. The human devices activated simultaneously, creating a phase-locked energy field that immobilized the Tyranny ship. "This is your only warning," Elena said, her voice hard now. "Leave our system immediately and inform your Dominion that Earth is not a target. It's a threat. Any further incursions will be met with immediate and overwhelming force." The energy field pulsed once, sending a shockwave through the alien vessel that disabled its primary weapon systems but left life support and engines intact, a precise, calculated demonstration of capability and restraint. "The choice is yours, High Commander," Elena concluded. "Leave in peace, or learn exactly how dangerous humans can be when provoked." In Earth's Defense Command Center, Elena watched as the Tyranny ship retreated, limping away from Earth orbit on auxiliary power. Around her, her team maintained professional composure, but the air was electric with the significance of what had just occurred. "They'll be back," Security Chief Okafor stated quietly. "And in greater numbers." Elena nodded. "Yes, but now we know what we're facing, and they have no idea what they've awakened. For the first time in their history, the Tyranny Dominion is about to learn what it means to be the prey instead of the predator." She turned to her communications officer. "Activate Phase 1 of the Lazarus Protocol. It's time to bring our other projects online." As dawn broke over a world forever changed, humanity began preparing for war among the stars. The Alliance. 6 months after the Tyranny retreat, Earth had transformed. Cities now bristled with defense systems hidden beneath architectural facades. Orbital platforms disguised as communications satellites formed a protective net around the planet. Beneath the surface, manufacturing facilities worked continuously, producing weapons and ships based on reverse-engineered alien technology. But despite the preparations, humanity was losing. The Tyranny had returned as predicted, not with a single ship but with a fleet of 300 vessels. They had established a blockade around the solar system, cutting Earth off from potential resources in the asteroid belt and outer planets. Skirmishes occurred daily, with both sides taking losses, but Earth's production capacity couldn't match the Dominion's ability to bring in reinforcements. In a bunker beneath the ruins of what had once been Geneva, Commander Elena Reyes studied the latest battle reports. Dark circles underlined her eyes. Sleep had become a luxury few in command could afford. The South Pacific defense grid held against their latest attack. Lieutenant Chen reported, but 3 of our submarine carriers were lost in the Atlantic. Elena nodded grimly. And the resistance. Captain Santos reports successful operations on the lunar colony. They've disrupted the Tyranny processing facility and liberated nearly 2,000 captives. This was the pattern of the war. Earth couldn't match the Tyranny in direct confrontation, but human guerrilla tactics were proving effective in asymmetric warfare. The Dominion had expected a conventional conflict and found themselves facing an enemy that refused to fight on expected terms. "Commander," Security Chief Okafor interrupted, "we're detecting an unusual energy signature approaching Earth. It doesn't match Tyranny configurations." Elena tensed. Another player entering the game. Unknown, but they're bypassing the Tyranny blockade without engagement. Either they're invisible to Dominion sensors, or the Tyranny are letting them through. Elena finished. Position. Decelerating in high orbit. They're small, a single vessel, approximately 1/4 the size of a Tyranny cruiser. All defense systems on standby alert, Elena ordered. But hold fire unless I give the command. The view screen activated, showing a sleek vessel unlike the angular Tyranny design. Its surface rippled with colors that seemed to flow like liquid metal. They're broadcasting, Chen announced. Audio only, in perfect English. Put it through, Elena commanded. People of Earth. A melodic voice filled the command center. I am Ambassador Tala of the Galactic Confederation. We have been monitoring your conflict with the Tyranny Dominion. I request permission to land and discuss matters of mutual interest. Elena exchanged glances with her officers. This could be a trap, Oka forewarned. Or an opportunity, Elena countered. She activated the communication system. Ambassador Tala, this is Commander Reyes of Earth Defense Command. Identify yourself and explain how you bypassed the Tyranny blockade. The Tyranny cannot detect our ships, Tala replied. Our phase-shifting technology is several generations beyond theirs. As for identification, I believe a face-to-face meeting would be more productive. I am prepared to land alone, unarmed, at any location you designate. After a tense discussion with what remained of Earth's Leadership Council, Elena agreed to meet the ambassador at a secure facility in the Australian outback. The alien ship descended with precision, touching down on the designated landing pad as defense systems tracked its every movement. When the ship's hatch opened, the assembled human security team raised their weapons instinctively. The figure that emerged was bipedal, but clearly alien, tall and slender with 4 arms and skin that shimmered with an iridescent quality. Its face featured 3 large eyes arranged in a triangle, and it moved with a fluid grace that suggested different muscle structure than human anatomy. Ambassador Tala raised all 4 hands in a gesture of peace. I come unarmed, as promised. In the secured meeting room, Elena studied the alien diplomat across the table. You claim to represent a galactic confederation, yet you've made no contact until now, while we've been fighting for our survival. The Confederation operates under strict non-intervention protocols, Tala explained. We observe developing species but do not interfere with their natural evolution. The Tyranny follow no such restrictions. They expand, consume, and move on. So why contact us now? Elena demanded. Because you've done something unprecedented, Tala replied. You've successfully resisted the Dominion. In 3,000 years of expansion, no species has managed what you've accomplished in 6 months. The ambassador activated a holographic display showing a map of the galaxy with various regions highlighted in different colors. The Tyranny control nearly 1/8 of the explored galaxy. The Confederation maintains another 1/3. The rest is divided among independent worlds and smaller coalitions. For centuries, we've maintained an uneasy balance, with the Dominion slowly expanding, but never directly challenging Confederation space. And where does Earth fit into this picture? Elena asked. That's the remarkable thing, Commander. You don't. Your solar system lies in what we considered a buffer zone, too distant from established powers to be strategically valuable. The Tyranny expansion in this direction was opportunistic, not planned. They didn't expect resistance. Elena leaned forward. So what are you offering? Protection. We won't trade one alien overlord for another. Tala's eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture Elena couldn't interpret. Not protection, Commander. Alliance. The Tyranny have committed significant forces to subjugate your world, forces withdrawn from other fronts. For the first time in generations, they're vulnerable. The Confederation sees an opportunity, but we need your help. Our help, against an empire that controls 1/8 of the galaxy. Yes, Tala said simply. Because you understand something no other species, including mine, truly comprehends. How to fight the tyranny asymmetrically. The ambassador's upper hands moved in an elegant gesture. The Confederation has superior technology, but rigid military doctrine. We fight according to established protocols, predictable strategies. The tyranny understand these patterns and counter them effectively. But you humans fight differently. We fight to survive, Elena stated. Precisely. Your species evolved as adaptive predators on a highly competitive world. You developed warfare not as a codified practice, but as a constantly evolving methodology. You use deception, misdirection, psychological tactics. You fight from the shadows, retreat when necessary, sacrifice tactical positions for strategic advantage. Tala leaned forward. The tyranny cannot comprehend your strategies because they defy conventional logic. You willingly sustain losses that would be unacceptable to any Confederation commander, yet you extract disproportionate damage in return. So you want us to teach you how to fight dirty? Elena asked, a hint of dark humor in her voice. We want you to fight alongside us. Tala corrected. The Confederation can provide technology, resources, access to established supply lines, and manufacturing capabilities, far beyond what Earth can currently produce. In return, we need your tactical innovation and your unique perspective on warfare. Elena considered the proposal. I'll need to discuss this with Earth's Leadership Council. But first, I want proof of your capabilities and your commitment. What would you consider sufficient proof? Break the tyranny blockade around Mars, Elena said without hesitation. We have 3,000 colonists trapped there, running out of supplies. Extract them safely, and we'll talk alliance. 2 days later, Elena stood in the command center watching as Confederation ships, previously invisible, materialized throughout the solar system. With surgical precision, they neutralized the tyranny blockade around Mars without destroying a single enemy vessel. Transport ships evacuated the Mars colony, while the tyranny scrambled to respond to an attack they couldn't properly detect. Impressive, Okafor admitted as the operation concluded. But concerning, Elena added. If they can penetrate tyranny defenses so easily, what stops them from doing the same to us after the Dominion is defeated? Perhaps that's where our unique perspective comes in, Chen suggested. We need to ensure we're not trading one threat for another. When Ambassador Tala returned to Earth, the terms of alliance were negotiated with careful precision. Humanity would gain access to Confederation technology, but all implementations would be constructed in human facilities. Earth would join the Confederation as an equal member, not a protectorate, with full representation in its governing council. And most importantly, Earth would establish its own independent fleet, answerable only to human authority. 6 weeks into the alliance, the war transformed. Confederation engineers helped humanity improve their phase shift technology, making Earth's defenders nearly invisible to tyranny sensors. Human tactical advisors taught Confederation commanders the art of guerrilla warfare, hit-and-run attacks, and psychological operations. On the captured tyranny command vessel, High Commander Vexalia faced unprecedented failure. Half the invasion fleet had been disabled or destroyed. Supply lines were disrupted by attacks that materialized without warning and disappeared before counterstrikes could be launched. The humans fight without honor. Vexalia complained to the holographic projection of the Dominion High Council. They refused direct engagement, targeting our support vessels instead of our warships. Your failure to subjugate a single primitive world is the dishonor, replied Counselor Zaxel, his tone frigid. You assured us this would be a simple harvesting operation. Instead, you've drawn the Confederation into active conflict for the first time in 7 generations. The humans are receiving assistance, Vexalia protested. Their tactics have infected Confederation doctrine. They no longer follow predictable patterns. Your excuses are irrelevant, Zaxel stated. The Emperor has made his decision. You will implement the cleansing protocol. If we cannot harvest Earth, we will sterilize it. Leave nothing for the Confederation to ally with. Vexalia's outer eyes widened in shock. The cleansing protocol violates our treaty with the Confederation. It would mean open war. War is already upon us, Zaxel replied. The Emperor believes the Confederation was planning this move regardless. Earth is merely their excuse. Implement the protocol immediately. In Earth's command center, the detection of unusual energy signatures from the Tyranny fleet triggered immediate alerts. They're repositioning, Chen reported, moving into a spherical formation around Earth. Ambassador Tala, now a permanent liaison to Earth Defense Command, studied the patterns with growing alarm. This is a cleansing formation. They're preparing to unleash a coordinated gravimetric pulse that will destabilize your planet's core. Can our defenses stop it? Elena demanded. Not directly, Talat admitted. Once initiated, the pulse sequence can only be disrupted by destroying all participating vessels simultaneously. How many ships? At least 50, precisely positioned. If even one remains functional, the sequence can still complete. Elena's mind raced through options. Then we need to stop them before they initiate the sequence. How long do we have? The positioning will take approximately 12 Earth hours. Elena turned to her tactical display. Then we have 12 hours to implement Operation Hydra. Operation Hydra had been developed as a contingency for exactly this scenario, a desperate, all-or-nothing strike at the heart of enemy operations. It combined human infiltration tactics with Confederation technology in ways neither would have conceived alone. As the Tyranny vessels moved into position, stealth shuttles departed Earth carrying small teams of human Special Forces operators equipped with Confederation phase-shifting technology. Each team targeted a single enemy ship, their mission to plant specially designed devices at key structural points. Simultaneously, a small fleet of automated drones deployed from Earth's dark side bases, programmed to execute complex flight patterns that would draw Tyranny attention without presenting viable targets. Infiltration teams report successful placement on 47 targets, Chen announced as the operation proceeded. 3 teams still en route. The Tyranny are completing their formation, Okafor warned. Energy buildup detected in their primary gravimetric arrays. Belena's hand hovered over the command console. We need all 50. Commander, Tala interjected, the Confederation fleet is moving to engage. No. Elena's voice was sharp. If they break formation now, the Tyranny will initiate prematurely. Tell them to hold position. The minutes ticked by with excruciating slowness. On the view screen, the final infiltration teams reported success just as the Tyranny energy readings peaked. All devices placed, Chen confirmed. Awaiting your command. Belena took a deep breath. Execute Hydra. Across 50 Tyranny ships, the planted devices activated simultaneously. Rather than explosives, they generated localized phase shifts that essentially removed small but critical sections of each vessel from normal spacetime. The effect was catastrophic. Engines destabilized, weapon systems collapsed, and control mechanisms failed. The Tyranny fleet didn't explode in spectacular fireballs. Instead, ships simply went dark, drifting out of their carefully calculated positions as internal systems ceased functioning. On the command vessel, High Commander Vexalia watched in horror as the status displays for the entire fleet blinked from active to non-responsive in a cascading wave. Before the commander could process what was happening, the ship's own systems began shutting down, life support failing as critical components simply vanished from existence. As the disabled Tyranny fleet drifted in Earth orbit, Confederation vessels moved in to secure the derelicts. Belena's communication system activated, showing not Ambassador Tala, but an older alien of the same species, wearing elaborate ceremonial garments. Commander Reyes, I am High Counselor Rental of the Galactic Confederation. I extend my personal congratulations on your remarkable victory. Thank you, Counselor, Elena replied, maintaining her composure despite the exhaustion threatening to overwhelm her. But this was merely a defensive action. The Dominion will send more ships. Perhaps not, Rental said, surprising her. Our intelligence suggests the Emperor committed nearly 30% of the Dominion's active fleet to this campaign. With those assets neutralized, subject worlds throughout their territory are already rising in rebellion. The counselor's expression shifted in a way Elena couldn't quite interpret. You have accomplished in months what the Confederation has been unable to achieve in centuries. You've broken the tyranny mystique of invincibility. What happens now? Now, Commander Rice, your real work begins. The Galactic Council has voted unanimously to appoint a human representative to our highest strategic command. We would be honored if you would accept this position. Elena blinked in surprise. Me? Why? Because you represent something the galaxy desperately needs, a new perspective. For too long, the established powers have fought according to understood rules and expected outcomes. You've demonstrated that innovation, adaptability, and unconventional thinking can overcome even the most entrenched advantages. The counselor's image was replaced by a galactic map showing power shifts already occurring throughout former tyranny space. The balance of power is changing, Commander. Old empires are faltering, new alliances forming. In this transformation, humanity has earned a central role, not because of your technology or resources, but because of your unique approach to challenges. Elena studied the map, the scale of what humanity had stumbled into beginning to sink in. We never wanted to fight, she said quietly. We only wanted to survive. And that, Commander, Rental replied, is precisely why the galaxy needs you. Those who seek power rarely use it wisely. Those who fight only for survival understand its true value. As dawn broke over Earth once more, humanity looked to the stars with new understanding. They had entered the galactic stage not as conquerors or victims, but as innovators and survivors. The species that had spent its history fighting amongst itself had found unity in facing an external threat, and in doing so, discovered its greatest strength, the ability to adapt, to think differently, to challenge established patterns. The tyranny had indeed picked a fight with the deadliest species in the galaxy, and in doing so, they had unwittingly unleashed a force that would reshape the cosmos.